So welcome to this Did You Know session. We're going to look at an exciting update to API testing and monitoring that allows you to use GraphQL in your tests. So here we are in API monitoring. The first thing we're going to need is we're going to create a new test. So we go into new test. We're actually using a sample of a SpaceX API for the example. So we give the test a name, we click on create test. And the first thing we need to do is define the request we're going to make. So we're going to change this to a post. We'll then put in the URL that we need to call for this particular test. And then we need to add the GraphQL body. And you can see here we have this option. So when we add it, you get a screen that has two options. The right is the variables and the left is the query we're going to post. We're going to start by just sending a GraphQL query as part of this test. So we've pasted in our query, we've clicked on save and run. You can see that has run, and if we look at the response that came back, we'll see we got this data that came back from this call. So the query worked and we got back data. And obviously we can do the normal assertions with this as you normally would with any test. And this is the query that we just posted. Now if we want to use variables, we can go and edit this test. And what we'll do is we'll just duplicate this call we've made, and we're going to take the copy and we're going to change the query and add a variable. So let's delete this. In the variable we're going to put in our variable value we're going to use. So we're going to set a number of response we want back from the call, and we're going to set it to 5. We then add the query. This is a slightly different query, and we can then run this test. So what we're going to say is we're going to take the variable number, which is 5, and pass that into the query body, as you can see here, and that will then control how many records we get back from the API. So this is running. If we're going to look at the response for this test, what we'll see is we've now got these 5 records that have come back. So there's a request where we can see the limit is set to 5. And if we look at the actual response that came back, we'll see there's 5 records, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now also, sometimes you may want to use an API testing variable to actually control this. So let's add a variable, which we're going to call launches. And let's set it to a different value. So I'm going to set it to 2. Now we can use this to parameterize our test. So you can see here where we hard coded this to 5, we can take that variable and include it. So that variable of 2 will get passed into here and will then get passed to the GraphQL request we're making. So if we now go and look at this new test we just ran, we'll see that that limit is now set to 2, which came from API testing, and we only got 2 responses back because that was the query that we sent as part of our GraphQL response, as you can see on the screen. So as you can see how quick and easy it is to add GraphQL to your API tests and monitoring. For more information, go to BlazeMeter.com. Thank you.